I'm Queena Kim here with KPCC's Frank Stoltz. Welcome to Off-Ramp.
Good to be here, Queena.
And with Dr. Antoinette Yancey. Welcome to Off-Ramp.
Thanks, Queena.
We're gathered here today to talk about why Prop 8 passed. And what the big surprise was the effect that Obama mania had on the passage of it. Frank, what did the African American vote do in terms of the passage of this bill?
Well, first of all, obviously, tons of African Americans showed up to the polls because they wanted to support the first black president. And what's interesting is they overwhelmingly voted in favor of Prop 8, against gay marriage.
Most African Americans, particularly those of us that, were around during civil rights, just cannot believe that we've elected a black president during our lifetimes. Mm-hmm. And because this is such a momentous occasion, the level of attention that we can direct to the no on 8 is probably a lot less. So the timing was poor. Who knows? Maybe the Prop 8 proponents even, thought about that.
At the rally, there was a lot of blame heaped on the Mormons. Sort of subtext of that is that they were outmanned, outmoneyed by this out-of-state interest. Was that the only issue No on Prop 8 had?
In fact, the No on 8 side ended up getting more money. Yes, the Mormons poured in nearly half of the Yes on 8 side, but still the No on 8 side had more money. What I've been hearing is that they indeed changed their media consultant just 3 or 4 weeks away from the election. The question becomes, was it the right change or the wrong change? I mean, they ended up losing. So should have they stuck with Ogilvy was their advertising group, and they're longtime, highly trained, well respected professional.
What do you think about that, Antoinette? Do you think that the No on 8 campaign did a good job at reaching out at the black community?
I don't at all. As a matter of fact, I just understood that they changed ad agencies just a month or so before the vote. And the first sets of ads I thought were very compelling and very much got at this issue of fairness. The initial commercial with the woman where you don't quite know what's going on and she's tripping and people are snatching her away and she just can't quite seem to get to the altar.
She's right. She's a woman in a wedding dress.
A woman in a wedding dress just trying to get to the altar with all of these obstacles was a wonderful commercial and really spoke to the discrimination element. By the time they got to these other commercials that actually they probably considered more ethnically targeted because the voiceover was by a black man and they talked about interracial marriage, but they actually didn't hit the right note. So they distracted, I think, the voter with a lot of other issues. There are a substantial number of African American women, particularly middle-aged and older African American women, that do not see intermarriage as an ideal. As a matter of fact, are kind of opposed to it. Mm-hmm. And part of that has to do with the fact that many people, as they move up in class, as they acquire more wealth or more status, are more likely to marry outside of the race.